When most people talk about high ticket sales, they're most likely not even talking about sales. 9 times out of 10, they're asking themselves these 3 questions. Is this a real path or just another internet illusion? Can this give me more control over my future? And can this change how limited I feel right now? And the reason those questions feel so loaded is because the internet has completely distorted this space. On one side, you got people flashing screenshots, flexing lifestyle, acting like sales is some sort of shortcut or a lottery ticket. On the other side, you got people saying it's a scam. But the truth sits in the middle. High ticket sales can be one of the most high leverage skills you can learn, but only if you understand how it actually works. Because outcomes in sales aren't random and they're definitely not universal. And this is why outcomes in sales are so different. Here's the first thing you need to understand, and this alone will clear up all the confusion. How far someone goes in sales has very little to do with sales as a concept. It really depends on these few things: what they're selling, who they're selling to, where they sit in the sales process, the price point of the offer, and the structure and the environment that they're in. Two people can have similar communication skills, similar work ethic, similar drive, but one of them feels stuck and the other one keeps progressing. Not because one is smarter, not because one got luckier, but because they're operating in completely different contexts. Sales doesn't reward effort evenly, it rewards leverage. And that is when reality clicked for me. My name is Nelson. Before sales, before working remotely, before having control over my income, over my time, I was working inside a warehouse. Long shift, long days, repetitive work, you get the gist. But the thing that would always click with me was I was standing next to a man 5, 10, 20 years older than me, getting paid the same pay, with the same ceiling. I want to be clear, I respect honest work. I respect hard workers showing up day after day, regardless of how you feel. There's real dignity in that. But I've said this quite some time now, there's also a huge danger in that lifestyle. When your income is capped, regardless of how hard you work or how much you work. I remember one day vividly, I was working with one of the older boys and he was talking to me about how many times he missed out on certain events, how many times he missed out with time with his family, and how he would change it if he had the opportunity that I had today. Ever since that moment, that's when everything clicked for me. That's when everything kind of changed for me, knowing that time is our greatest asset. Time is the number one thing that we can never get back. So you need to be able to learn something that can buy back your time. Skills on top of being able to know what you're talking about, know how you're selling something, know what you're providing is actually legit, is the most important times of my life was going through that period. All honesty, it wasn't the physical work, it was predictability, the routine, the knowledge of knowing that tomorrow will be exactly like today. The version of myself, like the one standing in that warehouse. It wasn't going anywhere. And it wasn't going to be anyone new. I say this all the time, I wasn't lazy, you're probably not lazy. I wasn't unlucky and you're not unlucky. I was trapped in a system where effort and income weren't directly connected. And once you see that, it's hard to unsee. It hits different when you realize, and especially when you're working as well. You can work harder, push more, stress yourself out even more and more, and still you hit the exact same ceiling. That's when I started to question myself. And why no one in my environment that was working inside a warehouse questioned that. Is this it? Is this all my effort is ever worth? Is there a way to actually tie being rewarded for my efforts for what I earn rather than earning, that $35 an hour? Now, those questions felt scary because they hinted at change. And change is uncomfortable, but staying stuck, that almost felt like suffocating. And that was the real wake-up call for me. So before we get into this, I want to say this real quick. If you're someone who feels capped at where they are right now, if you're tired of internet hype and you just want honest breakdown in this space of what actually works, and you care about long-term control rather than short-term motivation, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you find this video helps you think differently, helps you act differently, like this video so it can be spread to more people just like yourself. All right, let's get into it. Here's a difference that changed everything for me. In most jobs, your income is decided before you even show up. You clock in, you do your thing, and at the end of the week or month, you get paid the same, no matter how much skill, heart, or strategy you put in. Sales or commission-based sales or even high-ticket sales, as a matter of fact, flip that upside down. Suddenly, what I earn directly tied to what I could do, and it was decided by these 3 things. Number 1, the value of the offer, what I was helping people get or solve. Number 2, my ability to communicate clearly, not just talking about guiding, listening, and leading. And number 3, the role I was in. Where I sat in the process determine what I could actually earn. But that doesn't mean it was easy. Performance-based income is risky. Some days nothing goes right and you feel like the weight of your entire paycheck rests on your own shoulders. But here's the thing, the upside is infinite. I remember my first win vividly. I closed a conversation that I had no idea or no shot at. And when it converted, I felt a rush I've never felt inside a warehouse because I saw a direct link between what I did and what I earned. That's almost addictive. It's almost like a drug. You're almost chasing that high. But it's also dangerous if you don't respect the process. The same lessons that reward you when you're competent will punish overconfidence or laziness. Sales does not reward effort blindly. It rewards results. And results come from skill, strategy, and consistency. The shift from being stuck in a predictable system to someone whose results can actually scale. That was my first bit of taste of freedom. It was also the moment I understood if I wanted control, I needed to respect the game. You need to learn before you earn. One of the biggest lies online is you can just jump straight in and start earning big. That mindset right there is why most people quit. It's why so many bright, motivated people burn out before they ever see meaningful results. The truth is, the fastest path to long-term success often looks slower at the start. It doesn't look glamorous. It doesn't look like instant wins or flashy screenshot. It looks like learning. And day after day, in roles that feel beneath your ambition. Starting in lower positions like setting or SDR calling, it lets you learn how the offer is sold from the basics, from the roots of everything. The subtitles, the objections, the psychology behind decision making overall. Watching experienced closers in action. You're a student in the game and you should be watching the best of the best. Rather than looking at it as that you're at the lower tier, look at it as a way of, if they're in that position right there, how can I learn off them, right? You're learning from the best of the best. What can I do today to make sure what they done in the past, I can implement today? You need to build confidence without full pressure. Practice, make mistakes, and grow before everything is on the line. I remember my first month as a setter, my first week even as a setter. I probably missed out on so many leads. I missed out on so many opportunities. I made mistakes. But every no was a lesson. Every awkward conversation taught me to adjust my tone, adjust my timing, how to actually conversate with someone. I noticed small wins starting to stack up. Confidence grew, setting became smoother, conversations became meaningful. People who skip this part usually burn out, not because they aren't capable, but because they weren't ready. Sales pays well after you earn competence. There's a threshold you must cross. You can't shortcut it. And the faster you accept that, the faster you truly start to level up. That patience, learning before earning, is what separates people who plateau from people who eventually dominate the high ticket sales space. Because by the time you're closing, qualifying, and leading conversations, you already built the foundation to handle successful responsibilities. And this is why the vehicle probably matters more than a real skill. Here's something most people never factor in. A strong setter on a weak offer is capped. A developing closer, a developing skill person on a strong offer can progress faster. And this is why the skill alone doesn't always determine the outcome. The vehicle matters. Market demand, offer quality, positioning, lead flow, sales structure. Early on especially, your environment matters more than being perfect. You don't just apply to these roles, you elevate them. And that's why a good communicator based on their skill on a bad offer will be capped, whereas a up-and-coming skilled person, an up-and-coming communicator on a great offer, the sky's the limit for them because they're leveling up with the offer itself. Another thing most people don't talk about, but price changes everything. This is where high ticket sales specifically matters. Selling a higher price offer doesn't mean you work harder, you talk more, you pressured people. In many cases, the effort per conversation is similar. What changes is the level of qualifications, the depth of conversations, and the seriousness of the decision. That's why it's so different compared to someone investing $500 compared to someone investing $10,000 to $20,000 to $80,000. I've seen offers being sold at $80,000 and not a single objection was handled because they know that speed is everything. If they're lacking in a certain area and they need to pay $80,000 to get that knowledge, they're going to do that without hesitation because they know this knowledge that they're missing out on is going to have a high return. Same skill, different price point, completely different ceiling. That's why sales at different levels feel like different careers. Positions determine your ceiling. Not all sales roles are equal. There's a clear hierarchy. Setters, SDRs, qualifiers, closers, senior setters, managers, and leaders. Each level increases. Responsibilities, influence, and scope. Where you sit in the process matters more than how motivated you feel. The smartest people think in progression, not entitlement. And here's the truth to why most people plateau. A lot of salespeople don't fail, they stall. They reach a level that feels comfortable. Life improves slightly, pressure reduces, and they stop sharpening their skills. They stop becoming a student of the game. But comfort is the fastest way that you're going to cap yourself. Higher level demand, emotional control, clear communication, discipline, and leadership. The ceiling always moves, but only if you move with it. Skill ceiling versus opportunity ceiling. These are the two limits in sales. Skill ceiling, how well you communicate and lead decisions. Opportunity ceiling, how much the role allows you to grow. If the skill is limited, training fixes it. If the opportunity is limited, effort won't. And that's where strategy matters when growing. And this is why top performers can't leverage. High performers don't rely on assigned conversations, provided leads, and maintaining follow-up. They create momentum, they regain, they follow up properly, they take ownership. Sales rewards action, not attendance. Metrics over motivation. Motivation fades, metrics don't. The people who grow consistently focus on these three things: decision quality, conversation improvement, and value per conversation. Small improvements compound faster than longer hours. And this is where sales become predictable. Sales is leadership. At higher levels, sales stop becoming persuasion. It becomes presence, clarity, and decision leadership. People don't move forward because they're pressured. They move forward because they finally see a clear path. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And this is the truth about high ticket sales. High ticket sales isn't a shortcut, but is a leveraged career path. The people who win choose environments carefully, treat sales like a profession, constantly upgrade skills, and think long term. That upside exists, but only for the people who respect the craft. In summary, here's what I want you to understand. High ticket sales can change your career, but only if you approach it strategically. The people who excel aren't just better at talking to better clients or talking to clients in general. They're better at choosing opportunities, understanding the market, and positioning in themselves where growth is possible. The potential is real. I've seen people go from working inside a warehouse, working from FIFO with zero experience, zero knowledge, to then thriving in high ticket sales roles. But it requires treating it as a professional skill, not a quick fix. Focus on the fundamentals, choose opportunities wisely, and always ask yourself, how can I level up from where I am right now? Once you understand how high ticket sales works, your growth isn't random. It becomes a matter of skill, strategy, and persistence. If you're ready to take that next step and get hands-on experience in high ticket sales, I put together a training and a proven pathway that not only teaches you the skills, but helps you become fit for a role where opportunity helps you grow, where you can practice and grow these skills professionally, where you'll get access to communities, mentors who are going to guide you and lead you in the right direction. If you want to stop wondering what's possible and start building a career that actually grows with your skill, check out the link in the description below. Remember, once you learn how to sell, you will always have that skill to create opportunities. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.